The next Sentai is starting in March, and Kazuya Kamihoriuchi was announced as its director. Not everyone is versed in who does what behind the scenes on Tokusatsu, but this is pretty big news. He's never worked on Sentai before, but his episodes of Kamen Rider have been some of the most emotionally impactful episodes I have ever seen. With the announcement that the show's writer comes from the world of J-dramas, I wanted to look into Kamihoriuchi specifically to showcase what sort of director he is in bringing dramatic scripts to life. So first of all, who exactly is Kazuya Kamihoriuchi? Well, he got to start doing random scenes before working on parts of Saraba Kamen Rider Den-O. He was the assistant director on various episodes of Kamen Rider Kiva, and then he made his full directorial debut in episode 21 of Kamen Rider Ex-Aid, The Forbidden Continue. Kamihoriuchi has never been the head director of a series before now, but he's done some masterful stuff and was director of Kamen Rider Heisei Generations Final and Kamen Rider Build the movie Be the One. Giving a rather new director this responsibility speaks to how much Toei trusts this guy, and also probably how much they want him to stick around. So what are his specialties? He heightens emotions. It's super simple, but the reason it's a specialty is because he's able to take this to the extreme. Many of his best scenes aren't just a hero looking cool or a bad guy looking menacing. They're awe-inspiring feats, scenes set up with lights in cool ways, actors giving facial expressions that absolutely capture the intent of any given scene. He's able to get the most out of any script that he's given. Kamihoriuchi can take these emotions and expressions and really make you feel them. My favorite episode of his is episode 21 of Kamen Rider Build. This is an episode featuring a hero who loses control in a battle against monsters, killing the person inside one of them. Sento, Kamen Rider Build himself, doesn't want to be used as a weapon of war. He's adamant that the rider powers he created are not tools meant to harm people. In his desperation to save a friend though, Sento uses an item he's not supposed to and loses control. The rest of the episode follows both his and others' reactions to this event. Sento kills a person, and this episode very much treats it as such. He's in shock, and we see that on the strength of his actor, but it's the setting, the scenery, and the sound that make this episode the gold standard for me. Most of this episode is presented without any background music whatsoever. For the most part, the music is played during battles, but most of this episode heightens the ambient noise. You can hear the wind, people's voices boom a bit more when they speak, water flowing from a river feels like it's right in your ear. Background music typically tells you what to feel, it helps set the mood for a scene, but in this episode no one really knows how they should feel. Kamihoriuchi is also a master of throwing in minute little movements into scenes that carry fantastic weight. After Sento kills Alba, he's on the ground and turns to Ryuga in utter disarray. He's in shock and he's looking for comfort from his friend. But we see Ryuga slowly inch away. He's scared of what happened. He's scared of his friend. He is scared of Kamen Rider Build, our superhero. And I think this is where Kamihoriuchi is in his element. He's able to bend heroes and highlight what they've become. Sento looks pathetic throughout most of the episode, and nowhere is this more apparent than when he starts dry heaving at the hallucination of the person he's killed. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this in Tokusatsu before. You do see heroes killing monsters, and even other sentient beings, but seeing someone have such a visceral reaction to what they've done was sort of new ground for me. Kamihoriuchi can make the outcomes of these fantastic battles seem so realistic. He knows how to get the best out of what he's given. Later on in the show, we see one of my favorite scenes, also directed by Kamihoriuchi. A character by the name of Utsumi dies, and there's no music, there's no fanfare. We hear a blade impale his body, and we see his body jolt from the force of the blade. When the heroes he saved leave, we see the frustrated villain, his menacing shadow imposed over the fallen figure of Utsumi. And what I love about this scene is that it portrays frustration in everybody who takes part, except maybe Utsumi. The heroes that Utsumi saved are frustrated that somebody who just saved them is now dead, and the villain is frustrated that he wasn't able to get his prey. And this is one of the few times in the show that we see the villain, Evolt, become so frustrated. Usually he's sort of a madman on a joyride, but this is one of the very few times that we see him not happy. So when Kamihoriuchi is in his element, he's taking people out of their own element. This happens later on in Kamen Rider Ex-Aid, and in that show, Emu, the main character, is letting go of someone he's been trying to save. We have Emu in his gaudy gold suit, and he looks menacing. Here's our hero with his crazy hair, anime eyes, and he looks scary. And what about our bad guy? He's pathetic. He's whimpering, he's begging for his life, he's afraid. These are all emotions that monster attacks and life and death battles would bring about. You don't see these things brought out all the time because that might become a little exhausting, but when they matter, and Kamihoriuchi absolutely nails this amplification of emotion. Now, this is in no way a negative criticism towards Sentai, but looking at the list of creative talent brought on for Ryusoulger, Toei is making a huge statement of intent. I don't expect Kamihoriuchi will be able to push the envelope of Sentai as much as he's able to with Kamen Rider, but Kamihoriuchi could bring a very fresh perspective that Sentai desperately needs right now. Toei even makes mention of it in every press release since announcing the show. They play up the fact that the director did these big Rider movies and that the writer did some mystery drama. I don't know what the future holds for Sentai with these two at the helm, but I would like to see some realism in the aftermath of battles. Sentai battles have the tendency to be a bit more destructive than what we see in Rider. And as much as I love Goseiger, it had the habit of dressing its characters in crazy bandages that kinda lost their impact after a while. It sort of felt meaningless. You can't go crazy overboard and make it Rider in Sentai clothing, but I think this bit of gravity could help and be very useful for the future of Sentai. Alright, so this is the outro, and that was my first video, so thanks for watching. Tell me, who's your favorite tokusatsu director? What's a really cool episode that they've done? I am always on the lookout for new stuff to talk about. So yeah, I'm gonna try to make this a regular thing, so please like, comment, and subscribe, and keep a lookout for new content in the future.